Okay, so in this video, I'll discuss exercise 4.13 and exercise 4.14 from homework 11. I won't discuss 4.15 because the answers for that are in the back of your book. So getting started with 4.13, as I said in the lectures and also in the instructions on Blackboard, that we will not be determining whether or not infinitives are working as adjectives, adverbs, or nouns. All right, so that should, I hope, make 4.13 and this last section of this chapter quite easy, right? So now if we look at number 6 in 4.13, we're really just looking for the infinitive to develop. We're not trying to determine the function of it. So again, in all of these items, we're looking for the to plus a verb. And we're keeping in mind the distinction of to the beach, to the park, to HEB, to downtown. All of those are prepositional phrases because those are to plus a noun. So we're just looking for to plus verbs. So in 7, we have to overcome, 8, to sound, 9, to fit in, 10, to sound like, 11, to study. So notice here in 11 that we have just the distinction that I just brought up. So to Germany, Germany is a noun, Germany is a place, therefore to Germany is a prepositional phrase and should not be underlined. But to study is to plus the noun, to plus the base verb study. So to study is an infinitive. So then if we look at 12, 13, and 14, again, to receive, to study in 13, in 14, we have to use, and 15, to help. So again, when on this quiz and in this chapter, we're not determining the various functions of infinitives. You simply need to be able to identify them, and to identify them, you're just looking for to plus a verb. So in 4.14, we're trying to determine the various verbals. And this will be the main activity that you need to perform well on this quiz. In a variety of sentences, items will be underlined, and you'll need to say, well, is this a gerund, or is it a participle, or is it an infinitive? So in number 6, the infinitives, again, should be easy to identify. We have to negotiate. So we have to plus the verb negotiate. So we have infinitive in 6, and we're ignoring whether that is functioning as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. 7, again, we have an infinitive to practice. Again, we're not worried with whether it is noun, adverb, or adjective. 8, we have a participle. So remember we said a participle is, it's a type of verbal. It is spelled like a verb, it looks like a verb, it once was a verb, but is now functioning as an adjective. We also said that participles can be deleted. So in this sentence in number 8, a second language rarely sounds native-like. Certainly you can delete that participle and it makes perfect sense. Learned in adulthood is helping us identify more specifically what type of second language we're talking about. So number 8 is answering that essential adjective question of what kind of, or which one. So which one are you talking about? We're talking about the one learned in adulthood. So learned in adulthood, again, it's giving us more information about a noun language. In number 9, we have people speaking as a second language outnumber native speakers of English. So again, it's a participle. We can delete this. People outnumber native speakers of English. So we can delete participles. We cannot delete gerunds. Okay? But what people are we talking about? We're talking about people speaking English as a second language. So again, we see that it is answering the essential adjective question of which one. Well, which people are you talking about, Robert? I'm talking about the ones speaking English as a second language. 10, we have a gerund. Sounding like a native speaker is not their goal. So recall, we said gerunds, you cannot delete a gerund, right? So if you just had this sentence in this second part of this, and you just said, well, is not their goal. Is not their goal is not a sentence. That cannot stand alone, right? So here's a gerund. With a gerund, we can substitute it with a pronoun. We could say it is not their goal. This is not their goal. So gerunds we can substitute with a pronoun. 11, again, we see this is a gerund. The grammar translation method is an approach that focuses on translating text. So recalling again, on is a preposition. Prepositions must be followed by a noun. We could substitute a pronoun here that focuses on this. Right? So again, it does all of these things that nouns can do. In 12, we have the same situation where we have a preposition for. Prepositions must be followed by a noun or noun phrase. This can also be substituted with a pronoun. Some people have a special ability for this, so it's doing all of these gerund things. If this were a participle, we could delete it. But this is a gerund. You can't delete this from the sentence. Gerunds are important to the sentence structure. If you delete this, some people have a special ability for that. That's incomplete, right? So we can't delete gerunds. In 13, 14, and 15, we can easily identify infinitives: to communicate, to learn, to learn. Again, you're only marking that 13 and 14 and 15 are infinitives. You're not concerned with their function within the sentence.